Tonight, it's the idea of a whole galaxy quietly organizing its life around a rule nobody really remembers that won't leave me alone. I've always been fascinated by rules that everyone follows, but no one can explain. You grow up with them, you repeat them, and after a while the reason doesn't matter. Only the fear of breaking them does, and you can feel how that would get into your head, right? You're flying past some abandoned ark in deep space, and buried in the back of your mind is this old warning. Whatever sleeps in there, you leave it alone. It's a strange thought, isn't it? A civilization so intense, so interfering, that the safest thing they could do for the universe was put themselves in timeout, lock the door, and throw the key to future generations. So instead of trying to clear your mind, let's give it something oddly specific to latch onto. Imagine ships rushing past a certain dead-looking vessel. Laws quietly updated around it, children warned about it the way you might be warned not to touch a hot stove. And as you settle into your own spot for the night, well, drift over to one curious research ship called Lumen's Edge, to an old Zelian scientist named Zith and their two bright junior, Zix, and to the tiny safe scan that makes the door start to open. Imagine the whole galaxy built around a locked door. Ships rush past it. Laws mention it. Stories warn children about it. Do not open that door. Do not go near that door. Do not wake what sleeps behind it. After a few thousand years, most people forget why the door matters. They just obey. Then a curious scientist runs a safe scan. Somewhere in deep space, a light turns green. A system checks its timers, finds a problem, and decides, wake early, adjust plan. And the galaxy learns that the thing behind the door is not a monster. It is a tired, amused species that just wants coffee, better systems, and a little more play. Don't call more play. By the year 5200, the stars felt calm. Trade lanes glowed like soft rivers across the dark. Slow cargo reefs drifted between suns, covered in farms and little parks. Cloud cities floated inside gas giants, held in place by gentle fields. Crystal bridges linked hollowed-out moons where people met in markets that never really closed. The Zelian Compact sat at the center of it all. Zelians were crystal-based beings who shone from the inside, full of calm light. Their bodies were clear and faceted, like walking sculptures, but they moved with easy grace. When they spoke, their tones chimed through the air. Clean and careful, their laws held the galaxy together. Trade taxes, safe travel paths, rules about weapons, about shared science, about rescue rights, and who had to help whom in trouble. And under all of that, there was the old line, sitting at the bottom of every code, Article 0, do not wake the humans. If you asked a random trader in a cloud market why, they would just shrug. Ancient treaty, they might say, dangerous primitives. Another might add, system collapse risked. A third might mutter, eyes going distant for a moment, as if remembering a story told long ago. But no one had met a human. No one had heard a human voice. The rule had become like background noise, always there, never really checked. On the research vessel Lumen's Edge, Chief Science Officer Zith had read the line plenty of times. It sat in the legal section of the ship's guide, printed in large, clear shapes. Do not access, disturb, or attempt to revive any human cryostructure. Zith was old by Zelian standards. Their crystal form had deep, soft colors now, stains from centuries of tiny solar storms. And lab work, they liked neat data, quiet labs, and conclusions that clicked into place like solved puzzles. Junior researcher Zix, on the other hand, was almost too bright to look at. Their inner light flashed and changed with every new thought. Zix asked questions faster than Zith could answer them. What if the humans were actually small? Zix had once asked. Or vapor, or Zix. Zyth's tone had been dry. The rule says not to wake them. It does not say to fantasize about them. Now Lumen's Edge cruised along a quiet border of Alliance space. Sensors stretched out like fine nets. They were hunting for drift, broken ships, old probes, forgotten stations, things that could be studied, cleaned, and maybe turned back into something helpful. Contact, called navigation, large mass at bearing 329, low relative speed, minimal spin, no beacon, no Alliance code. The bridge dimmed as focus shifted to the main screen. A ship hung there, or a station, or a mix of both. It was huge, longer than most city habitats, its hull a dull gray that ate starlight instead of bouncing it away. Soft blue rings ran around its sides, not lit, but carved, like layers in an ancient shell. Zith felt a tiny surge of interest. Age estimate, structure, matches. Old human records, the analyst said. Voice uncertain. Cross-checking with sealed archives, yes. Classification human colony arc. Status unknown. The bridge grew very still. Article 0 was not a joke out here. Zith signaled for internal privacy. The lights over the science bay turned amber, cutting the audio feed. To general crew. 6. Zith softly. Lab 7. Now, Zix hurried in moments later, surfaces glittering with nervous energy. Is that? Yes, Zyth said. A human sleep ship. Zix's light flickered in a mix of fear and excitement. We should leave, right? Call Meridian Station. Let the diplomats panic first. Zith let out a slow, sharp tone, their version of a thoughtful sigh. Article 0 says not to wake them, Zyth said. It does not forbid outside scanning for safety. A derelict of that size could drift into trade lanes. It could break apart. Zix's core glowed a little brighter, so we can look. Carefully, very carefully, Zith agreed. We maintain full distance, no physical contact. No power input, no standard scan pulses that might couple with internal systems. I have been calibrating a new quantum probe, Zix said quickly. Low energy, passive resonance mode. It just reads existing quantum states from far away. It cannot trigger anything. It would be like like listening for heat in a stone. Quantum probes were allowed under strict rules. They were used for dark matter survey and to test fragile fields without touching them. "Show me the model," Zith said. On the hollow table, lines of code and diagrams rose up. Zix explained each safety lock. No directed energy, no matching of known human codes. A clear ceiling on interaction depth. Zith checked it all. Line by line, they had spent a long life finding where safe systems went wrong. Here they saw care. They saw thought. They saw a chance to gather first-hand data about a myth without breaking the rule. Approved, Zith said at last, but we send nothing to the main net until Meridian reviews it. No broad alerts. We do not cause fear if there is no real hazard. Zix nearly vibrated. Yes, Chief setting up now. Minutes later, the probe cast its awareness toward the dark giant. On the big display, the human arc reappeared, now drawn in soft, ghostly lines. A faint haze marked the cryofield around its core. Stable, continuous, strong. No decay, Zith murmured. Impressive. Checking internal mass patterns, Zix said. There are millions of small, consistent shapes. Biological, human bodies, I think. All in grid formations. Very regular. No motion, any live power. Zyth asked. Minimal. Background only. Wait, Zix leaned closer to the display, as if they could see more by will alone. There is a low-level quantum system nested inside the core. It's dense, complex. Strange tuning, but it's not active. It's resting. Take readings only, Zyth said. We watch, we do not touch. Zix adjusted the probe, focusing tighter on the quantum cluster. The lab lights dimmed automatically as more of the ship's computing focus shifted to the analysis. Data flowed in soft beams across the room, turning into shapes and numbers. There is a pattern, Zix said slowly, like layered simulations. Countless internal states, all superposed. It's beautiful. I can deepen the read. Just a little. To see core harmonics, Zith hesitated. Does that stay inside your safety model? Yes, Zix said. There is no outgoing signal, purely passive. I promise. Zith watched the arc on the screen. It hung there, silent and dark and massive. For thousands of years, it had just drifted. Data had value. Good data could help the Alliance understand old tech, prevent accidents, maybe even confirm that the sleep ship posed no risk. Very well, Zith said at last, brief core harmonic read. Do not cross your own limits. Zix's fingers danced across the console. The quantum probe shifted into its deeper mode. It did what Zix had promised. It listened harder. It tried to see the pattern of the human ship's internal quantum fields, not just their shape. Far away, at the heart of the arc, something noticed. It was not a mind. Not yet. It was a system with a simple job. Watch for certain kinds of inspection, certain touches on its deeper state. Those were signals, set long ago. A tiny nested program woke. External quantum observation detected. Profile. Near match to Alliance survey expected by year 6000. Current year 5203. Deviation minus 1797 years. Risk medium. Status sleep timers off plan. Trigger early adjust protocol. Inside the Ark, lines of code that had slept for millennia turned over like people rolling in bed. A hidden field spun up. Dark to most scans. Timers rewrote themselves. In Lab 7, Six gasped. Chief, did you see that? Their inner light flashed sharp gold. The quantum core had spiked. Something changed. Zith straightened. Pull back. End the scan. I am trying, Six said. Fingers moving fast. The probe is retracting, but the field is changing on its own. Something in there woke. On Lumen's Edge's main display, the dull arc gained a faint line of light along its central spine. Bridge to science, came the captain's calm but tight voice. We are reading a power increase on the object. Confirm. Zith tapped the link open. Confirm. We register internal changes. We believed the structure was passive. It seems we were wrong. Is this human activity? The captain asked. Zith studied the fresh data. The spike was precise, timed, not random at all. Yes, Zith said. Or at least human design. Captain Article 0 applies. We may have triggered something. On the screen, the central band of the arc brightened like a slow dawn under thick clouds. Patrons of lights came on along its hull, first dim, then clear, forming rings and gentle waves. Zik's voice was very small now. Chief, did I just wake the humans? The bridge fell silent long enough for Zith to hear their own inner tones, faint and uneasy. No, Zith said carefully, not yet. But you knocked on their door. Across the Alliance and silent relay stations and secure channels, dormant filters noticed the Ark's new activity. At Meridian Station, a forgotten monitor turned from gray to red. Text scrolled across an old high-clearance channel. In simple human letters, no one had seen light up in living memory. Sleep, ship, status, change, yearly wake sequence, initiated, quantum probe contact. Note to Allens, do not panic, proceed to Welcome Protocol. No one on Meridian knew what Welcome Protocol meant, but they all knew Article 0, and they all knew that somewhere, in the dark, the locked door was starting to open. By the time Lumen's Edge finished its first frantic calls, the Alliance defense ring was already moving. Ships slid into new positions with practiced grace. Some were slim and sharp, made for quick moves and quiet strength. Others were broad, like traveling shields, built to stand between danger and the softer things behind it. Around the humanist markers blinked into place. Quarantine zone, do not enter. Drone buoys stitched an invisible fence in space. On the main tactical map aboard the flagship, the Ark floated at the center of a growing circle of colored icons. Red for weapons platforms, red for weapons, blue for shield ships, gold for diplomatic envoys, racing in from Meridian Station. High Commander Christos Arwen stood with hands clasped behind his back, staring at the display. He was not Salian. He was human-shaped, but not human. A descendant of another long-space species, with dark, smooth skin and soft lines of light under it that marked implanted tech. His eyes were calm but tight at the corners. "They breached Article 0, said his second officer, a Zelian with a steady, violet glow. "Accident or not, the rule is broken. Lumen's edge has pulled back. No physical touch, but the human ship responded. That is all the rule needed." "Do you think they are angry?" the officer asked. Christos had grown up with human stories like old storms in the background. His teachers had described them as powerful, clever, and too fast, a species that built too much too quickly, until all the nearby space bent around their projects. "They went to sleep," Christos said. "On purpose. That is the part I never understood. If they were so dangerous, why choose to stop? Maybe correction," the officer said, "or regret." "Maybe," Christos said. "Or maybe they were making something and did not want us running underfoot." He watched the Ark. The new lights along its hull pulsed with a slow, steady rhythm. No weapons fired. No launches. No beams. Still fear lay under every calm voice on the encrypted channels. Ambassador Crystal Vale drifted her shuttle through the last gate of the defense ring, eyes on her own screen. She was Zelian, but younger than Zith, her body clear, like new glass, and filled with a soft turquoise glow. She wore a simple alliance sash that changed color to show her rank and role. Her aide's voice came through the link. "Are you ready, Ambassador?" Crystal adjusted the small translator band near what passed for her mouth. Her tones rang bright but steady. "I have been practicing greetings to a species no one has met," she said. "I am as ready as I will ever be." Her private notes floated on a side panel. "Speak slowly. Offer calm. Acknowledge error. Do not promise things you cannot deliver. Remember, they may be confused, scared, or furious." She closed the notes and looked at the Ark through the viewplate. Close up, its hull showed tiny marks from micrometeors, long grooves from some past maneuver. The blue rings around it had begun to glow faintly, like eyes opening from sleep. Docking fields engaging said, "The shuttle pilot, we are holding at recommended distance. No physical link. No hard line." "Thank you," Crystal said. She turned to the small team behind her. Language experts, cultural historians, a few calm-looking guards. "Whatever they do, keep your moves slow. No sudden shifts. Smile, if you have a mouth. If you do not, choose your kindest glow." The guards exchanged glances. The language expert, a soft cloud being held by a transparent suit, adjusted its shape nervously. On every linked ship of the defense ring, feeds from the Ark showed the same thing: an opening. A simple rectangle yawned near the center line of the hull. Air drifted out in a pale mist, then stopped as a field snapped into place. A ramp flowed down from inside, forming as if poured from thick light. Atmosphere readings? Christos asked. Breathable, said a sensor tech. Human standard. Slight coffee compounds. That cannot be right. On Crystal's shuttle, the same report came in. She stared. Coffee? She repeated. The tech nodded weakly. Trace molecules match old human drink data. Caffeine. Oils, roasted plant signatures. It's very clear. Crystal almost laughed, then stopped herself. Her body's glow brightened anyway. The ramp finished forming. For a moment, nothing moved. Alliance weapons stayed locked but cold. Shields stayed high, but not blinding. Every camera was trained on that opening. Then the first human stepped out. They were shorter than Christos had imagined, dark hair tied back. Simple gray clothes that looked soft and practical. No armor. No visible implants. In their right hand, they held a mug. Steam rose from it, carrying the clear, rich smell the sensors had flagged. They took 2 slow steps, blinked against the light of distant suns and nearby ships, and squinted at the nearest camera as if it were a person. Morning, they said. Voice rough with recent sleep. Who poked us? On the defense ring, several officers forgot not to speak at once. Audio confirm. Translate lag minimal. They are casual. Christos overrode the channel. Record only, no chatter. On the shuttle, Crystal's translators spun up, matching phonemes, reaching for old human archives. The band near her mouth warmed as it locked in. She leaned toward the pickup, body light steady. Human vessel, she said. I am Ambassador Crystal Vale of the Galactic Alliance. Our ship, Lumen's Edge, performed a remote scan that appears to have triggered your systems. The Alliance regrets any disturbance to your rest. The human listened, then took a slow drink from their mug. Regrets. Huh, they said. Okay, that's honest. Another figure appeared behind them, taller, with curly hair stuck up in odd places, wearing a loose shirt with faded symbols on it. This second human also held a mug. They bumped lightly into the first, looked past them at the cluster of ships, and let out a low breath. Wow, they said, you all got busy while we were out. Crystal input a quick note. Humor. Informal speech. Alert. Emotional tone, not hostile. My name is Dr. Elena Park. The first human said, adjusting their grip on the mug. System science. This is Miles Carter. Social engineer. We're very freshly awake, so please excuse any lack of polish. They gave a small, tired smile straight at the main shuttle camera. Miles raised their mug like a toast. Also, our coffee is about 6,000 years old, which is a crime. So if you have better drinks, consider that your first goodwill offering. Across the Alliance channels, analysts flagged the lines, joke, light complaint, request for trade. Christos listened carefully. No threats, no calls for weapons, no talk of revenge, just 2 sleepy people asking for better coffee. Crystal answered first, Dr. Park, Miles Carter. On behalf of the Alliance, I welcome you. We did not intend to wake you. Our law has long been clear. Do not wake the humans. Our scan was meant to be non-invasive. Elena's eyes narrowed slightly. You have a law not to wake us? Yes, Crystal said. For longer than any living person has been alive. The reasons were not fully passed down. We know only that your species requested it, and that older Alliance minds agreed. Miles snorted softly. Of course they mangled the story. Elena shot them a mild look, then turned back to the camera. Status check, she said briskly. Are there other human ships awake? Any hostile readings from this vessel? Any incidents so far? Crystal's inner light brightened in respect. Straight to the point. No other human ships are active. That we can see, Crystal said. Your arc shows no weapon fire, no launches, no harmful fields. There was only the internal power rise and the opening you created. As for incidents, none yet. Only noise. Many leaders are afraid. Of us, Miles said, half amused, half sad. Still, Christos stepped onto the diplomatic channel, his image appearing in a small inset near the main feed. I am High Commander Christos Arwin of the Alliance Defense Ring, he said. Dr. Park, Miles Carter, you should know that weapons are active, but not aimed. We are here to prevent panic, not to start a fight. Elena studied him. You don't look very panicked. I am very panicked, Christos said calmly. I am just good at it. Miles laughed, sudden and bright. Elena's shoulders relaxed a little. Okay, she said. So, we have been asleep a very long time. Our long-timers say we woke early by about 2,000 years. I am guessing one of your scans nudged a threshold we set. Crystal winced. They were wrong. We are prepared to share all scan data and accept any fair consequence. Hold that, Elena said. We can talk about blame after we know if anyone is in danger. How stable is local space? Any major conflicts? Christos and Christos said quick look. Stable, Christos said. Trade is active. Borders are mostly agreed. There are tensions, but no large wars. Elena, Miles murmured, nudging their arm. Better than we left it? Much, Elena said. Good job, Galaxy. She took another drink, made a face, and set the mug on a small floating tray that hummed into existence beside her. Next, comfort. Our people are still under cryo. Full wake was supposed to happen in stages, with solid plans, prepared habitats, and decent coffee. Instead, we have an early alarm and a ring of nervous ships. We can assist with supplies, Crystal said quickly. Food, materials, medical checks. We have specialists on ancient human biology. Your people do not need to wake all at once. Good, Elena said, because they will be grumpy. Long sleep is kind of intense. Miles looked at the crowd of ships, then leaned forward, question from the social side. How have you been telling stories about us? Crystal hesitated. It varies. Some see you as a warning. Some as protectors, some as myth. Monsters under the bed? Miles asked. In a gentle way, Crystal said carefully. We did tell you not to wake us. That must have sounded scary. Yes, Christos said, very. Elena's face grew more serious. Then let's fix that fear as soon as we can. We are not here to punish you. We are mostly here to stretch, check the simulations, and see if we can get back to a better nap. Simulations? Crystal repeated. Long story. Miles said. Short version, we were running universe-scale tests while we slept. Your whole galaxy has been spots near our experiment zone. Christos felt the tiny hairs on his arms rise. Experimented on. Protected, Elena corrected gently. Mostly. Alliance channels exploded with questions. But they stayed on mute. Christos locked the line. Dr. Park, he said. With respect, that word matters. I know, Elena said. And I will explain, soon. But first, we need some basics. Power. Fresh water. Safe links. A neutral place to talk where you do not all feel like you are standing in front of a loaded star gun. Crystal saw her chance. Meridian Station, she said quickly. We can prepare a secure dock. A shared hall. No weapons inside. Equal numbers from both sides. You, Miles. A small human team. Alliance Council members. We can call it a calm start. Miles nodded. A group meeting instead of a standoff. I like it. Elena looked back into the Ark's interior. Shapes moved gently in the dim. Service drones, status lights, slow carts. Somewhere deep inside, millions of humans still rested. She turned back to the camera. Okay, Meridian Station, she said. Send us docking coordinates that respect our hull limits. No hard line to your net until we set filters. And someone please bring a drink that isn't older than your oldest law. Christos felt a small, surprised smile tug at his mouth. We have traders who still brew, according to pre-sleep human recipes. I will have them meet you personally. Now you are talking real diplomacy. Around the Ark, the Alliance ships eased a tiny bit farther back, widening the circle. Defensive fields cooled from bright to soft. Weapons re-angled toward non-lethal zones. Inside the Ark, hidden systems shifted into a new plan. Partial wake, early dialogue, outside input. Zix watched all of this from Lumen's Edge's science bay, inner light dim with guilt and wonder. Chief, they said quietly. I thought I ruined everything. Zith watched Elena and Miles joke with the commander and ambassador on the screen. The humans moved like people at a strange party, not like monsters coming out of legend. You may have started everything, Zith said. Not ruined, just moved the schedule. On the main feed, Elena rubbed her eyes and straightened her simple clothes. Okay, she said. Let's go meet a galaxy that grew up without us in the room. Her voice was steady, even if her hair was a mess and her coffee was terrible. And somehow, As the human ark adjusted its course toward Meridian Station, the fear in the defense ring began to melt into something else. Not trust. Not yet. But curiosity and the first hint of warmth. Meridian Station had been built for big moments. Its central hall could hold thousands of people from dozens of species at once. The ceiling was a clear dome that showed a safe, filtered view of the stars. Walkways crossed above like gentle bridges. Air filters kept the smell of so many bodies from becoming too strong. Today, most of those walkways were empty. Security fields shimmered in soft bands along the walls. Quiet guards waited at each entrance, hands steady but ready. Translation drones floated high above, lights blinking. At the far end of the hall, the Alliance Council had taken their seats on a broad, curving platform. Zillions in many shades of light stood beside cloud beings in suits, soft-bodied traders, and a few tall, thin shapes from high-gravity worlds. High Commander Christos stood to one side, half in shadow, close enough to speak if needed. Ambassador Crystal Vale rested at the center. Her glow was softer than usual, but bright enough to show she was present and focused. Outside, the human ark sat in a careful orbit, held at a safe distance. A single shuttle glided from it toward Meridian, marked with both Alliance and human symbols. Its course was slow, steady, and broadcast in clear paths so no one would think. It was sneaking. Inside that shuttle, Elena Park checked herself in the small, reflective panel near the door. Her gray clothes had been traded for something a little nicer. Dark, simple pants, a soft shirt, and a light jacket with faint patterns from old Earth cultures. Her hair was pulled back with more success this time. The circles under her eyes were still there. Miles Carter wore a shirt with bright colors and small printed jokes in an old human language few would read. They had argued that alarming a galaxy was enough formality for one day. "You ready?" Miles asked. "No," Lena said. "But we're here anyway." Behind them, two more humans sat quietly. Sanaa Metha, a medical systems expert with kind eyes and sharp hands, and Rafael Ortiz, a calm logistics planner who could stare down broken starport schedules without blinking. "Remember," Elena said to her small team, "they are scared of us. They also woke us early. Both of those things will twist how they hear our words. So we go slow. We stay kind. We do not lie." Miles nodded, and we try not to roast them too hard about the law until they stop shaking. The shuttle clicked as it docked. Station air flowed in, carrying a faint mix of metals, plants, and cleaning agents. The door slid open. A welcome path glowed on the floor, soft white plates marking a route straight to the council platform. Around it, space had been left clear. Around it, space had been left clear. No crowding. No surprises. Crystal stepped forward from her place at the council, meeting them halfway. "Park," she said. "Welcome to Meridian Station." Elena walked with her hands visible, palms open. Miles walked slightly behind, eyes moving, taking in guards, exits, camera angles, the tension in shoulders and faces. Thank you for having us, Elena said. We know this was not on your calendar. A faint ripple of nervous laughter moved through the hall. Even those who did not fully get the joke felt the ease in her tone. Crystal gestured to the platform. If you are willing, the council would like to hear from you first. Our laws around your species are old and thin. We know very little. Fair, Elena said. We would also like to hear from you, but I agree that we should go first. We wrote part of this mess. Council members shifted at that word. Christos watched closely. Zith and Zix sat in a side section for observers, Zix almost vibrating with nerves. The humans reached the center of the hall. A simple low stand had been prepared for them, no high podium, no raised throne, just a place to stand where everyone could see. Elena stepped onto it. Miles stood just beside, a little behind her. Sana and Raphael took places slightly off to the side. Elena looked up at the dome, then slowly around the hall. Her gaze moved across crystal bodies, cloud suits, soft shells, and metal frames. "Hello," she said, voice steady. "My name is Dr. Sid, Elena Park. I am human. I am a systems scientist. This is Miles Carter, Sana Mehta, and Raphael Ortiz. We are the first small wave of awake humans on our ship. Quiet fell so thick that even the air system sounded loud. You have a law about us," Elena went on. Article 0. Do not wake the humans. You think it is an alliance rule, an ancient, wise command from your own past leaders. That is half right. Crystal tilted her head, half. Elena nodded. The words are in your code because we asked you to put them there. We, the humans, wrote the original request. We sent it out to the early alliance as a safety order. For you and for us, a council member from the outer drift, a being made of layered leaves in a glass frame, leaned forward. You asked not to be woken, they said. Why? Miles stepped up to the stand beside Elena. Short version, we knew what we were like when we were busy and wide awake. We built systems so fast that other species could not breathe. We kept trying to fix every body's problems, even when they did not ask us to. We did not want to do that forever. Elena lifted her hand. She opened a small hollow window that showed a timeline. Stars, arrows, clusters of dots. Before we went to sleep, she said, humans had spread across many systems. We had fast ships. We had quantum labs. We had lots of ideas about how things should run. Good ideas often, but also heavy. We kept stepping into local fights and saying, we can fix this. She tapped a point on the line. Small red shapes flashed. Sometimes we helped. Sometimes we made things worse. We were loud neighbors. We were good at building, bad at leaving space for others to grow, without our hands on everything. Christos listened, jaw tight. It matched some of the old stories, but hearing humans say it about themselves made it sharper. At the same time, Elena said, our tech reached a point where we could run very large tests. Think of it like many copies of the universe run in careful models to see which choices led to collapse and which led to joy. We linked minds. We built what we called quantum consciousness labs. A murmur rushed through the hall at that term. It matched old half-legend reports. We realized something simple and scary. Elena said, if we kept acting at full speed in the real universe, we would always be tempted to skip the slow learning. We would fix based on our guesses, not on deep study. So we made a plan. Miles held up their hand, counting off emperors. Planned steps, they said clearly. 1. Build sleep ships that could hold millions of us, plus our labs. 2. Find long, quiet paths through space, away from heavy traffic. 3. Set up social firewalls. Crystal repeated the last phrase. Social firewalls. Barriers in law and culture, Miles said, that keep certain ideas or contacts from spreading too fast. In this case, we wrote the root of your Article 0 and pushed it into your early law templates. We made sure your oldest alliance core understood. Do not wake humans without very strong reason. You planted the law, Zis said softly, half rising. You seeded it into our founding agreements. Yes, Elena said, we asked your early leaders to agree. They did. We also did something else. Her eyes glinted with a hint of mischief. We wrapped the whole thing in a bit of a prank. The words sat strangely in the air. Translation systems. Took a moment, then gave. Joke with a trick inside. Miles' smile turned crooked. Humans do not stop being playful, even when we are scared of ourselves. So when we designed the message that told your systems, do not wake the humans, we also adjusted how that story felt over time. How it felt? Asked the leaf-framed council member. Stories drift, Miles said. Facts fade. Feelings last. We built little nudges into your old media feeds and training modules. A hint here, a twist there. So that as centuries passed, the reasons would blur. But one thing would stay, a big shared sense that waking us too soon would be very, very embarrassing. Zix blinked rapidly. Embarrassing, not deadly? Deadly too, in some paths, Elena said. But we did not want fear to rule you. Fear makes bad law. We wanted you to make your own choices, build your own systems, without always asking, what will the humans think? Christoph's voice cut in, cool and direct. You shaped our culture to think about you by telling us not to think about you too closely. Elena met his gaze. Yes, that is the part that will hurt. The hall tensed. Continue, Crystal said quietly. Elena took a slow breath. The sleep ships are not just buses. Why? They are labs. Inside our cryofields, our minds are linked in careful ways to run long, branching simulations. We see what happens if food laws change, or if travel paths shift, or if certain weapons spread. We see which kinds of systems give rest and joy, and which grind people down. We test new kinds of play, new holidays, new fairness, ideas. Miles nodded. You could say we put ourselves in timeout so we could think clearly. And while we slept, Elena said, your galaxy grew, mostly under your own steam. Your trade lanes, your art, your politics, all shaped by you. We only set a few big guardrails at the start. No mass extinction wars, no forced mental rewrite tech. Some safe tech standards. Raphael spoke up for the first time, voice low. If someone tried to build galaxy killer devices in those early days, they tended to fail quietly. Circuits burned, research drifted, people lost interest. That was us a bit. But after a while, you stopped reaching for those tools. You built other paths. Shock moved through the council like a cold wind. You are saying, said a heavy, metal-framed delegate from the outer rings, that our natural peace is part of your design? No, Elena said firmly, your peace is yours. We only blocked the very worst roads at the start. After that, you made your own messes and solved them your way. We watched, we learned from our simulations, but we did not reach in. That was the core of our deal with ourselves. Observe, do not steer. That is not how it feels, the metal-frame delegate said. It feels like you kept us in a safe garden. Miles spread their hands. We cannot deny we put a fence around a few cliffs. We also cannot pretend we did nothing. That is part of the shame we will carry from here. Zith stood fully now, voice ringing clear. You say you meant to protect us from your speed and weight. Yet you also removed your own presence from the field. You left us to grow up without your voice. Did you think you were above us? No, Elena said quickly. We thought we were bad at not taking over. We needed distance. If we stayed, we would have built everything around our habits. We did not want that for you. Or for us. A Zelian counselor with deep amber light spoke, tone tight. You tuned our feelings. You made our great rule half a joke. Elena gave a small, sad smile. The prank was on us too. We knew that someday you might wake us early. We built in a response. If an Alliance-style quantum scan touched our core, we would wake in a mode set to treat it as official contact. We would come out polite. We would come out ready to talk, not to rage. That is the part that triggered now. So you planned for our mistake, Christos said. And here we are, playing our part. Silence settled again. Finally, Crystal stood. Dr. Park, she said, many in this hall feel used, shaped, small. We have spent our whole history with a door in our house and no clear memory of why we built it. Now you say the door, the lock and half the fear were made by you. Elena's shoulders dropped. Yes, she said softly. We did that. We thought we were being kind and careful. We can see now how it also looks like we did not trust you to handle your own danger. Miles stepped closer to the edge of the stand. Here is the other side. They said, your culture also did something to us. Your law worked. You did not wake us. You gossiped about us. You told stories. You warned your kids, but you left us alone. That gave us time to think, together, for thousands of years, time to see our own patterns. Time to ask what kind of presence we want to be when we are awake. Sanaya added, "We found out that humans burn out fast in constant crisis. We get tired. We hurt each other when we never rest. So we changed our goal. We do not just want to save people from big disasters. We want to build systems where most days are gentle, where rest is normal, not a prize." Raphael nodded. "We learned that our best work happens when we are not the only ones in charge. We need you. Your ideas. Your checks on our habits." Elena looked up, eyes bright. "That is why waking early is hard. Our ship was supposed to wake when your systems had more built-in safety and spare time. When we had time to set up nice landing spots, play zones, good coffee. Now we are here with half our people still sleeping and no comfort plan ready." A small, shaky laugh ran along the back rows. Christos folded his arms. "What do you want now?" Elena met his gaze without flinching. "We want partnership," she said. "We want to show you what we have been working on in our labs, our patch notes for reality, and ask what fits your lives. We want to help fix some sharp edges in your systems, not by ruling, but by offering tools. And then, if things are stable, we want to go back to sleep, with better alarms, better comfort. And you expect us to just forgive the prank?" the Amberzelian counselor asked. Miles shook their head. "No, you get to be angry. You get to complain. You get to go back through your history and mark where our early guardrails touched you. You get to audit us hard." Zaith's light cooled from sharp to thoughtful. "Yes," Elena said. "Under joint review, we are not dropping a huge code update on your galaxy without your consent. We learned that lesson the hard way, a long time ago." Crystal stepped closer, leaving the council platform and walking down toward the humans. Her sash shifted colors as it passed through different role markers. "Ambassador, mediator, citizen, when I was a little light," she said slowly. "I heard bedtime stories about humans. Some made you sound like gods. All made you sound big. You stand here tired and worried, admitting tricks and faults. You do not feel like either of those things." "We are not," Elena said. "We are just clever animals that got too many tools too fast and are trying not to wreck the place." A few council members smiled at that. Crystal studied them. "You hid your role in our early safety. You stepped back so we could take the main stage. Now you come back early and unplanned and tell us this with open hands. That matters." She turned to the council. "We could choose anger," she said. "We could choose to treat humans as a threat for shaping our roots. Or we can choose something harder, honesty with them and with ourselves. We are not as purely self-made as we like to think. But we are also not puppets. We grew in the space we were given. We filled it with our colors." Her turquoise glow deepened. "I propose that we accept the humans' offer to share their lab results, that we form a mixed review council. that we write together new rules about human involvement. Clear, open, joint rules. No more secret social firewalls planted from one side. Christos raised a hand slightly. And what if their patch notes tear our systems apart? Elena answered him. Then you say no. You veto. You push back. We revise, or we drop the idea. That is what real partnership looks like. A long, slow debate followed. Some council members argued that humans should be ordered back to sleep. At once, their ship pushed far from Alliance space. Others said that was both impossible and foolish. The human ark could not be forced without risking massive harm. And now that humans were half awake, shoving them away like a problem would only grow resentment on both sides. Zith spoke in favor of the Review Council. We owe them listening. Lumen's edge broke Article 0. We knocked. They answered like good hosts, not like warlords. Zik stood and blurted before anyone could stop them. I am sorry. I thought it was safe. If punishment is needed, give it to me. Many heads turned. Elena looked at Zix, then shook her head gently. No, she said. You did what curious minds do. You saw a locked box and wanted to know what was inside without breaking it. That is not a crime. That is a mirror of us. If blame sits anywhere, it sits with us for setting a trap we knew someday a curious junior researcher would trigger. Zik's inner light flickered between shame and relief. In the end, after hours of talk and pauses and private channels, the council reached a simple, clear set of first steps. Form a human Alliance Systems Council, half human, half non-human, to review lab results. Allow a limited number of humans to wake and travel under agreed rules. Place a halt on any attempt to shut down or move the human ark by force. Begin a shared process of rewriting Article 0 with both sides' input. Crystal announced it aloud. Translation drones. Translation drones carried the words. In many sounds and signs, Elena let out a breath she had not known she was holding. Miles closed their eyes for a moment, then opened them with a small, tired grin. See, they murmured. Group meeting, not standoff. Christos stepped down from the platform and stood near Elena. I am still angry, he said quietly enough that only she and Miles heard. Not at you, personally. At the idea that my ancestors were nudged. You should be, Elena said. Anger is part of accurate memory. We will not ask you to drop it. Just aim it into building something better with us. Christos studied her for a long moment, then gave a single short nod. We will hold you to your offer, he said. No more hidden guardrails. No more jokes about laws that shape lives. Miles raised their hands as if in a public promise. Agreed. If we try to hide a prank in your code again, you can legally take away our coffee. That might be too harsh. As the hall slowly emptied, work teams formed. Names were exchanged. Secure channels were opened between human systems and Alliance cores. Sanaa scheduled joint medical checks. Raphael began sketching shared logistics plans on a portable screen. Outside, the human ark adjusted its position again. this time with guidance from Meridian. Deep in its core, the quantum consciousness labs recorded new data. The shape of this early meeting, the tone of voices, the first rough shape of trust and hurt shared in one room. In a quiet corner of the hall, Zith and Zix approached Elena. "Dr. Park," Zith said, "on behalf of Lumen's Edge, thank you for not turning our mistake into a weapon against us." Elena smiled faintly. "On behalf of a very tired humanity, thank you for waking us with a knock instead of a bomb." Zix shifted, light flaring. "Do you hate us for ending your long experiment early?" Elena looked past them, up through the dome at the stars. "I am annoyed," she admitted. "We had plans, schedules. Now they are all in shreds. But experiments never go the way you script them. And honestly, I am curious. Seeing a galaxy earlier than planned, that is also data." Miles joined them, holding a small, steaming cup someone had pressed into their hand. "How's the new coffee?" Zith asked, trying the word carefully. Miles took a sip, considered, then smiled. "Not as bad as our 6,000-year-old stuff," they said. "I think this is the start of a beautiful, mildly caffeinated friendship." Zix laughed, the sound chiming high and clear. The locked door in the galaxy was no longer locked. It was just a door, with people walking through it in both directions, carrying data, jokes, guilt, and plans. The prank behind the law had been exposed. The shame and the care in it lay bare. Now came the harder part, patching a whole galaxy together, this time with nobody hiding in the walls. The first months after Meridian were busy and strange. Human faces began to appear in places that had only known stories. A sleepy engineer on a cloud city, checking storm control code. A calm doctor on a reef station, adjusting care routines. A group of laughing planners on a freight hub, asking very direct questions about why restrooms were so far from work zones. They did not come in huge waves. The Human Ion Systems Council kept the number low. Only a few thousand humans woke across the whole arc at first, and most stayed linked to the labs even while walking around. Doctor. Elena Park moved more than most. She spent 1 week in Meridian, 1 week on the Ark, 1 week on a rotating field site, then back again. Everywhere she went, people asked her the same mix of things. "Are we living in your experiment? Are you going to leave again? Can we see your patch notes?" The last question had a formal answer. Now, yes, but only in the council. Only with time to talk about each part.